Imagine Princess of Egypt and Queen of Iran, once the elegant princess of the Nile, then the enchanting Queen of Iran, known the world over as the Venus of Asia. Are you ready to discover the mystery-filled life story of Fawzia Fuad, the legendary Egyptian princess and Queen of Iran? The legendary news begins. On the morning of November 5th, 1921, there was great joy in Ras El-Tin, the royal palace in Alexandria, Egypt. Queen Nazli, the second wife of King Fuad III of Egypt, gave birth for the second time and gave birth to a beautiful baby girl with black hair and blue eyes. They named this baby Fawzia, who would later be described as a timeless beauty. Her childhood was spent in the palaces of Cairo and Alexandria, and she grew up surrounded by English governesses and French and Italian servants. Like other members of the dynasty, Fawzia spoke both Turkish and Arabic. After a period of education at the palace, the princess was sent to Switzerland, which was very fashionable at the time, to receive a good education. In Switzerland, it does not take long for her to become fluent in English, French, and Italian. Fawzia, who had a free life away from the boring palace rules when she lived in Switzerland, feels free and happy in this period. Fawzia, like her friends around her, bought clothes from luxury fashion houses, followed the fashion of that period closely, and wore jewellery to match her stylish clothes. Fawzia's future first husband, Prince Reza Pahlavi of Iran, was also studying in Switzerland at the same time. But they never met. The event that changed the fate of Princess Fawzia was the idea of Reza Pahlavi, the Shah of Iran, that a kinship with Egypt was necessary for the interests of his country, Iran. This idea was given to him during a visit to Turkey by President Ataturk, whom he respected. Meanwhile, Fawzia is 15 years old. Her education in Switzerland is over, and she has returned to Egypt. After the free life in Switzerland, she finds herself in the boring palace life. Her movements are restricted due to the palace rules and her mother's controlling behaviour. Meanwhile, her father, King Fuad I, dies, and her 16-year-old brother Farouk I takes the throne. 2 years pass. Reza Pahlavi, the Shah of Iran, tells his son Prince Mohammad Reza that it would be beneficial for Iran if he married one of the Egyptian princesses and shows him photographs of Princess Fawzia and her sisters and asks him to make a choice. The prince saw a photo of Princess Fawzia, a beauty that could be compared to Hollywood stars, and agreed to marry Fawzia. Meanwhile, Mohammad Reza is in love with an Iranian girl, but he buries his love in his heart for his country. Reza Pahlavi, the Shah of Iran, sends a proposal to King Farouk for the marriage of his son, the prince, with Princess Fawzia. King Farouk asks his sister's opinion about the marriage and leaves the last word to her. Fawzia sees this marriage proposal as an escape from the boring environment of the palace and accepts this surprise marriage proposal. Thus, there is no obstacle for the marriage of Fawzia, Princess of Egypt, and Mohammad Reza, Crown Prince of Iran. The Shah of Iran and his son Mohammad Reza travelled to Egypt with a large delegation for the engagement ceremony. In May 1938, Princess Fawzia and Prince Mohammad Reza had a magnificent engagement ceremony. They were married on the 15th of March 1939, 10 months after the engagement. Fawzia was 18, and Mohammad Reza was 20 years old when they got married. Although Fawzia and Mohammad Reza saw each other only once before the wedding, they liked each other. A legendary wedding ceremony was organised in Aberdeen Palace. This wedding took place in the world press with its splendour. Celebrations were held for days in honour of this magnificent wedding. After the marvellous wedding ceremony in Egypt, Princess Fawzia travelled to Iran with her family members. Fawzia also takes her personal belongings and servants to Iran. In the Marble Palace in Tehran, another wedding ceremony is held according to Iranian traditions and these festivities continue for 7 days and 7 nights. Since the Queen must be an Iranian citizen according to Iranian law, Fawzia is granted Iranian citizenship in the following days. After Egypt, one of the most developed countries in the Middle East at the time, Iran and the Iranian palace felt rather boring and outdated to Princess Fawzia. By the end of the 1930s, Iran was no different from a provincial town. There are frequent power cuts, and most of the streets and roads are still dirt. The Iranian palace resembled a large, old, unpretentious villa. Court protocols in Persia were also very boring and rigid. For Fawzia, who had grown up in Egypt amidst enormous wealth and lived in Europe for a few years, her life in Iran became a nightmare. Fawzia began to feel very lonely. Soon she falls into depression. Although she sees psychiatrists from time to time, she cannot get out of her depression despite the treatments she receives. Fawzia's health gradually deteriorates, and her restlessness is reflected in her marriage. The newlyweds' marriage begins to shake. The couple gives birth to a daughter, Shehnaz, the following year. But this child is not enough to save their shaken marriage. Everyone expecting a son for the continuation of the dynasty is disappointed. Prince Mohammad Reza can never fully understand Fawzia. He himself is too young and inexperienced. Fawzia was extremely unhappy. She rarely leaves the palace. She spends most of her time in bed with her daughter. Princess Fawzia also has serious problems and tensions with the court dynasties. According to a rumour, her mother-in-law and her husband's sisters were jealous of Fawzia's beauty. One day, during an argument, one of her husband's sisters, someone breaks a vase on Fawzia's head. Fawzia collapses in a pool of blood and is hospitalized. The only person who understands Fawzia and commiserates with her is her husband's twin sister, Princess Ashraf. Shah Reza Pahlavi is deposed by the British in 1941 and sent into exile. His son, Prince Mohammad Reza, succeeded him on the throne. After becoming queen, contrary to popular belief, hard times awaited Fawzia. She feels ashamed that she could not give birth to a son. Meanwhile, it is rumoured that Fawzia cheated on her husband with a handsome sportsman. However, this can never be proven. According to another rumour, Shah Mohammad was cheating on Fawzia with other women in the Gulistan palace. Meanwhile, Fawzia fell ill and was diagnosed with malaria. After her recovery, she was photographed by the world-famous British photographer Cecil Bitton and featured on the cover of the September 21st, 1942 issue of Life magazine. Fawzia's extraordinary beauty was heard around the world. World public opinion referred to Fawzia as the Asian Venus. Famous statesmen of many countries praised Fawzia's beauty. Fawzia was likened to the famous Hollywood star of the time, Vivian Leigh. Fawzia, whose unhappiness was evident from the photographs taken in Iran, did not want to stay in this marriage any longer. She tells the Shah that she wants to go to Egypt for treatment. The Shah realizes that there will be no going back, but he does not object because he does not want to cause a crisis between the two countries. In May 1945, a private plane was arranged to take Fawzia to Egypt. The Shah and many officials from the palace came to the airport to see the Queen off. Husband and wife say goodbye in front of the plane. Fawzia gets on the plane with her daughter and a few special officials. The doors close and the propellers start spinning. But the plane does not take off, the doors reopen and the staircase is lowered again. The Shah's protocol minister comes on board. He tells Fawzia that His Majesty would like you to send his daughter down to kiss her one last time. Fawzia agrees and the Minister of Protocol takes Shehnaz by the hand and takes her off the plane. Just then the ladder is pulled, the doors close, the propellers start spinning and the plane begins to move off the runway. Fawzia realizes that the Shah has kidnapped her daughter and starts screaming. She orders the pilots to turn back, but the pilots ignore Fawzia's screams and take the plane into the air because they have received the order from the Shah. Fawzia cries and has a nervous breakdown. She is unconscious when the plane lands in Cairo. Shah is so offended and upset that he does not send any of Fawzia's belongings to Egypt. After returning to Egypt, Fawzia never looked back and soon divorced Shah. This divorce was not accepted by Iran at first, since it is against tradition for queens to divorce Shah. Shah tries hard to win her back and dissuade her from divorce, but he could not dissuade Fawzia from her decision. King Farouk of Egypt also supported his sister. Their divorce became official only on 17 November 1948. The reason given by Iran for the divorce was that the Iranian climate had a bad effect on the Queen's health. According to a rumour, Shah said that he would agree to the divorce only if Shah gave him custody of their daughter Shahnaz. Fawzia sacrifices her daughter for her freedom and accepts this offer. Giving up her child also prevents her from having a normal mother-daughter relationship with her daughter in the future. Although their divorce causes a crisis between Egypt and Iran, the doors of happiness reopen for Fawzia. Fawzia was 28 years old and in the prime of her youth when she got divorced. Fawzia regained the title of Princess of Egypt, and 5 months after her official divorce, she married Colonel Ismail Shirin, a diplomat of Circassian origin and aide to Farouk. Ismail Shirin was a graduate of Trinity College, Cambridge. He had served briefly as Minister of War and Navy in Egypt. They were given a simple and warm wedding ceremony under the patronage of King Farouk I. This marriage was different from Fawzia's previous political marriage. It was purely a marriage of love. Fawzia found the happiness she was looking for in her second marriage. She soon recovered. Fawzia had 2 more children, Nadia and Hussein. In 1952, her brother King Farouk I was overthrown in a military coup and sent into exile. In 1953, Egypt became a republic. Almost everyone from the royal family left Egypt, but Fawzia did not leave her beloved country until her death. Fawzia, who was stripped of her princess title with the coup, spent her life in her secluded villa in Alexandria until her death. She never appeared in front of the press in Egypt and refused all interview offers. The transition from being a princess to living on a much lower income was a difficult one, but she faced it all with great determination and maturity. Fawzia lived a simple and happy life until her husband's death in 1994. She occasionally visits her daughter Shahnaz, the daughter of the Shah of Iran, who lives in Switzerland in the summers. But the daughter is resentful that her mother left her in Iran. For this reason, they never had a close mother-daughter relationship. In 2009, his second daughter Nadia died at the age of 59. Her daughter Shehnaz from her first husband and her son Hussein from her second husband are still alive. In 2013, as the civil unrest in Egypt continued, Fawzia passed away quietly on Tuesday, July 2, 2013, at the age of 91. The day after her death, a coup d'état took place in Egypt, so her death did not receive much attention in the Egyptian press. Her life, which began with a stormy start, ended so quietly that her funeral was not attended except by a few members of the dynasty and a few members of the Egyptian public. Fawzia's body is buried next to her second husband, Ismail Shirin, whom she loved very much and with whom she found happiness. Fawzia Fuad's life story is one of the most remarkable and dramatic in history. She once said, "Twice in my life I lost the crown. Once I was Queen of Iran, and once I was Princess of here. It's all gone now. It doesn't matter. Remembered for her elegance and tragic life, Fawzia is an important figure who left her mark on both Iranian and Egyptian history. In this video, we took a short journey into the unforgettable life of the beautiful Princess Fawzia Fuad. See you in our next video. Goodbye. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more of these and similar videos.